also the lifespan of a girl who goes into sex trafficking is shortened to about 7 more years. And finding all these things out was really shocking to me because as a teen living in Atlanta, it was really disturbing for me to know that there are girls out there that were my age that weren't getting to live the life of a normal teenager. And so this year I was accepted into Lab Atlanta, and I was able to research more on this topic. I was able to talk to these 3 experts on everything. So first I interviewed this woman, Jennifer Swain, who's the director of Youth Spark. And Youth Spark is basically a program for girls and boys who have been sexually exploited to go into their program and to be able to have normal things, and they provide for them clothes and food and learning services. And so when I was interviewing her, I asked her what her most memorable teaching experience was, and this is her answer.
A need for girls who didn't even know that they were victims. A 13-year-old, 14-year-olds would walk into this office and they just had an older boyfriend. They didn't think he was a pimp. They really just thought that he takes care of me and I have to do what I have to do to help us make money. And when we started the community-based program, I had a bunch of girls that would come after school and we would sit in a circle like this and we would talk about their issues. And the girls had just started talking about these twerk parties and twerk sessions that was happening online. And they would have these twerk teams. And so they started talking about having basement parties and how you could get money if you were a stripper. And it was really hard for me to say to them, no, you should not be a stripper and make $3,000 a night, but you should go work at Kroger instead and make $300 a week, you know? I wanted them to understand that even when you are in the basement and you are dancing, even with your clothes on, sometimes you start something, you can't stop it. And you can be in a much more dangerous situation. And I actually called a friend and I found a stripper who worked here in Atlanta, and she came and spoke to them. And she told them how it looked so glamorous on the movies and on the music, and it looked so glamorous, but really it isn't. And the strip clubs is just like your pimp. You have to pay them. You have to do all these things. And that was the most impactful moment for me because they got a chance to really see what it would be like to do that. I didn't take that from them and just tell them no. And we had a very non-traditional speaker who was able to help change that. And I never heard any of those girls talk about being a stripper again.
So yeah, that was Jennifer Swain. The next person I interviewed was Dorsey Jones, who also works at Youth Spark. She started out as a probation officer, but she also goes out to tons of schools in Atlanta, and she tells people about her story because she as well, when she was younger, was sex trafficked. And so I asked her why she started telling her story publicly, and this is her answer.
I worked with children for about 13 years as a probation officer, but I realized that I was not giving them my best because I was pretending to be somebody I wasn't, because I didn't want the people in the court, or the people that I called my family on my job, to know the kind of lifestyle that I lived, because I was still embarrassed by the lifestyle. And it wasn't until a young girl came into my office, she was sharing with me and her grandmother the things that she had experienced. So I knew at that moment it was time for me to pull back the layers and be who I was supposed to be for her and for the other kids that I was servicing in the court. And that's when I decided to do something different. I decided to start sharing my life and my journey so that when the kids came through, they would know how important it is to be honest, to be open, and to know that it's okay because there are people who travel the same journey that you did. I knew at that moment that I just wanted to be a part of this organization because I seen kids that come through the court hurt, wounded, and a lot of them experienced the same type of lifestyle that I did, and I felt like they just needed somebody to encourage them and to motivate them and let them know that if I could overcome what I've been through, they could overcome what they've been through.
So the last person I interviewed was Demita Bullock from Wellspring Living, which is basically a home for girls who have been in sex trafficking, and they also provide for them schooling, and they also provide therapist groups where they can just be together and learn different skills with each other. And when I was talking to Demita Bullock, who's a coach for these girls, started in the airport, why do you think Atlanta is such a big hub for sex trafficking? And this is what she said.
I feel like you literally can get and do anything in Atlanta. I mean, to be honest with you, I've been here 2 years. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I came to Atlanta because everything that's in my lifestyle personally, like sports, they have all the major sports teams. They have an international airport. Like everything that's related to what I'm into, arts, culture, it was here. So when I was researching where I wanted to move, I chose Atlanta for those things. So I feel like that's the reason that it attracts people, because young kids, they get caught up in that. They want to, there's so many different clubs and ways to be grown. When you're 14 and 15, there's so many different things to do here. And if you have, those parents or caregivers that won't let you, it's like you could literally find a way to do it. You can find a club that's going to let you in. You can find a place that you can get alcohol when you're underage. You can find, I just feel like there's so many different avenues, and it's a good thing when it's legal. For someone like me that's coming to the city that's new, but I feel like it's also, it's a negative for youth that, they have everything at their fingertips here. Literally everything's at their fingertips.
So yeah. So after interviewing these 3 women, I decided to go and do my own research, and I came up with a small infographic of all the facts that I found. So 90% of girls who have been sexually exploited were still enrolled in school. 65% of men who purchase sex from teens live in the suburbs outside the I-285 perimeter. Approximately 374 girls are sexually exploited monthly. The average age of girls who go into sex trafficking is 11 to 14, and individually, pimps can make $33,000 a week and $230 million a year. So a lot of these facts were really hard for me to absorb, because I'm also kind of in the age group of where girls can go into sex trafficking, so I'm very thankful for having to live the life that I am. So because I'm a minor, I can't really do anything to interact with any of the girls, so I decided that my solution would be, this is my school, Drew Charter School, and when I go back, I will try and make a club for people who are interested in this topic, and we were going to try and educate the school on sex trafficking so no one else gets into this, and as well as go to other schools in the APS community where we can also educate more schools on this topic. I'm also doing a talk, or giving the same presentation to a group of 8th graders at an elementary to middle school called the Children's School, and I'll also be educating them on this matter, as well as I will be trying to go to a panel with the councilwoman of East Point to also educate people on sex trafficking. And these 2 articles I used were my sources. Any questions?
Thanks for the awareness. I'm Daryl Short of Nelson's father. Are there certain signs or things that we should be looking for? I mean, just in our common, going to a grocery store, just going to a mall, things you should look for?
Yeah, from my research, I recovered a few things. I know that at airports, they educate the security to look for young girls who are following just one man or anything. Also, if a girl goes into a bathroom and doesn't come out for a little while, that's also not a good sign. There are also some things that you can notice in schools. Sometimes girls who are late or are sleeping in class, there's probably something going on at home, and yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
My name's Jill Morehouse Lemon. I appreciated the statistic that said 90% of the girls who are being exploited are still in school, and I didn't know if you saw that as a hopeful place for change because people are in school, or that was a terrible statistic, or how did you read that 90% of these kids are in school?
I thought it was kind of, it was really sad because there are some schools were, well, because I've been going to the same school since from pre-primary to 6th grade, I never really saw that, and when I went to Drew, I also didn't really see that, so I haven't been going to enough schools to see that kind of thing happening. So it was really sad for me to know that there are girls out there who are still in school and trying to get their education while also being sexually exploited illegally and yeah. Yes.
I'm Pecou, I'm OG's dad. I wanted to know, and we talked about this a little bit, but besides raising awareness with your group, with your club, are there other activities that you guys might be able to engage in to help girls have, other things to do besides get caught up into that lifestyle?
Yes, I was thinking if we could do like activities like activities kind of like charities so that we could donate to other homes just like Youth Spark or Wellspring Living and raise money and awareness.
Yes. So I'm Kim Nichols, I'm Kana Roach's mom, and I think one of your statistics said that this sort of starts around ages 11 to 14, is that right? And I know you're talking to 8th graders at children's school. How young of an age group is it appropriate to start talking to about this? Because if girls are getting recruited at like age 11, that's like 5th or 6th grade, but it seems like kind of a scary topic to talk to a little kid about, but that's probably when they need to start knowing about it.
So yeah, I agree with you. Some age groups might be a little too young to talk to you about this, but instead of telling them about it directly, you could enforce sort of like norms or social interactions where they won't have to go through that. Like, like trying to put them in a loving home is first of all a really big factor, because if you're not in a loving home or you're not like in a place where you're not getting what you need, you may go into something to get more money that puts you in a very dangerous position.
I'm Arturo Lindsay, I'm OG's abuelito. I'm very impressed, with this. I'm really happy to be here. But my question is, having done this kind of research, is this giving you some thoughts about careers, things that you may think about, doing? Because research is interesting, in the future.
I haven't really thought about it for like my future careers in adult life, but I do plan on keeping the club that I make at Drew Charter still going, and as an alum, well, when I become an alumni of Drew Charter School, I plan to keep coming back to Drew to make sure that everything is going well and that girls are getting educated.
And just a quick reference to the first question that was asked about how parents can know, so that could be another aspect of your group, because oftentimes parents do miss signals. And even the most involved of parents will miss certain signals, so it may be worth doing a little further research to figure out how parents can tap into just even minor signs. So if, they start to notice their student being withdrawn, or they notice, different patterns or hanging with different people. So just giving parents an opportunity to be aware so that they can catch it on the front end versus trying to react to it on the back end.
We just have time for one more. You had referenced Ms. Dorsey Jones, and I know her personally and have spoken to her in detail about her story. And one of the things that stuck out to me was how subtle the inappropriate interaction started with one of her offenders. And so when you go out to speak to these students, what are some of the warning signs that you want to inform them about, to be on the lookout for some type of interactions that could eventually lead to this type of engagement?
First, I think I'd tell everyone to stay away from like neighborhoods where this is very prominent, and I think I'd also try and get people to know more about thing that my group is going to be doing is to keep girls educated so that they know what not to do and where not to go and who not to talk to. I also read a certain story about girls who are just like, they just disappear because they're kidnapped. So like going to places and staying with someone who you can trust and not talking to strangers, that's something I would probably try and enforce as well.
So we're gonna have to stop because we got 5 more
Can I
group.
make one comment though that I think is applicable to all the students real quick? OG, I wanna give you a shout out. I'm Laura Dicey, for those of you who don't know, Director of Live Atlanta. OG, you pivoted. This is a kid who, as she was going through her project, she really cared about the rehabilitation of girls who had been through sex trafficking. And through her empathy interviews uncovered that because she's not an adult, because she's a minor, she can't interact, can't engage, and there's so much right around privacy. I love that you pivoted and responded to the needs that you saw, which was about education, and gave her an article just 2 days ago that was in the Business Chronicle. With the Super Bowl coming, the concern is great in the community, and so awareness is trying to be raised. I think you've really hit on something that you and your friends can do to actually, because I think when it comes from a passionate youth voice to other youth,